was administered to find out how many Americans eat breakfast? 0.32 was the proportion of the men, 0.68 was the proportion of the women that ate breakfast. Given that the person asked was female, 0.79 said that they eat breakfast. Of the males, there was 0.33 that said they didn't eat breakfast. We are going to complete the tree diagram and then use it to find the following probabilities. So in the question up here, it says, of the people that were surveyed, 32% was the proportion of men and 68 was the proportion of women. So the answer in here that we're going to fill out for the proportion or the probability of men is going to be 0.32. And then the percentage or the probability of females was 0.68. Notice that in this level of the tree, everything adds up to 100%. Now, when I break it down even further, when I look at just the men, it says here as a clue, it says of the males, 33% said they didn't eat breakfast. So that would be the D for doesn't eat breakfast. So looking at just the men, if I take it out of the men, this would be 0.33 that doesn't eat breakfast. So this is the probability that a person that's picked doesn't eat breakfast given that they're male. Now, because when I'm looking at the male category, the two groups need to add up to 100%. This is going to be 0.7, or sorry, this is going to be 0.67 or 67% that does eat breakfast of the males. So when we're looking at just the males, 67% eat breakfast and 33% don't. So this is the probability that if you randomly pick a person and they eat breakfast, that this is out of the males. So the probability that you choose someone that eats breakfast, given that they're male, is 67%. Now, looking down here, it says of the women, 79% said they eat breakfast. So that's going to go here, 0.79. And because this is broken up to they eat breakfast or they don't eat breakfast out of the female group, this group has to add up to 100%. So I know the group that doesn't eat breakfast out of the females is 0.21. Now, this probability here, the 0.21%, that is the probability that a person you choose doesn't eat breakfast given that they were females. This is out of the female group. And then this probability here, the 0.79, is the probability that you choose someone that does eat breakfast given that they're female. Okay, so now let's use the tree to answer the questions. So we've already answered C and D by labeling them here. So let's just answer it. The probability that someone eats breakfast, given that they're male, that's this, the 0.67. And then the probability that someone doesn't eat breakfast, given that they're female, that's this value here, the 0.21. Now for these, because these are not assumptions, these don't have conditions on them, we're taking it out of everybody, not narrowing it down to male or female. So when we're doing that, remember that is the probability that a person is female and doesn't eat. That means you're going to do multiplication. So we're going to do the probability that they're female times the probability that they don't eat given that they're female, because we know we're taking this out of the female group. We're looking and we're narrowing this down to F and D. So this is our formula that we use for and statements. Now, if these were independent events, then I could just take the probability F times the probability of D. So we're going to take and follow the trail here. I'm going to take 0.68 and I'm going to multiply it by 0.21. So I'm just following this trail down here, down the branches, female and doesn't eat, and I'm going to multiply those together. So when you do that, you get, I'm running out of room here, 0.1428. Now for this one here, male and eek, so we're going to take the probability that the person is male times the probability that he eeks given that he's male, using our formula. But really all we're doing is we're just following the trail down the tree and multiplying those values together. So if I look to see where the path that you would take to go from male and he eeks, you take this value, 0.321, times the 0.67. Times the 0.67. So 0.32 times 0.67, that should give you 0.2144.